Yeah, hopefully now you're all there and the fourth Baltic Urban Lab webinar. We have had a series of them. This is the fourth. And our topic today is new digital tools on participatory urban planning. And this is organized technically by the Union of Baltic Cities, Sustainable Cities Commission, and also the software is offered by them and technical support. I hope. Yeah, no, they're not, my slides are not changing. Sorry, yes, now they're working. Sorry for the technical problem in the beginning, but some technical tips. So you have had two options to choose how you connect. So whether it's a phone call or computer, so hopefully you are so far and have the connection available. And there are only few options you can make. So most you're at the moment muted. All the audience is muted at the moment. And you can get notified by clicking the raise your hand button. And there is also the interactive option to make questions to us, and that's mainly dealt after the presentations. And then there will be a poll, but we'll get back to that under some minutes. And then one more tip, so if it seems that you are not hearing anything or you seem that you don't have the options available that I just told about, so maybe it's best to just end the connection and try to enter again. But I see we have like about 20 online, so there's maybe some 10 still getting in, but they will maybe catch up because we still have some introductions. But to how you can participate today, so it's all about participation at the first place, but how to participate in this webinar. So as I told, the audience is muted during the presentations, and that's just we will have the both presentations right after each other, so we are not having discussions in between. But don't worry, you can write questions already during the presentation so that you don't forget them. But also write to whom they are targeted so that we know, is it to Tallinn or is it to Norrköping? And after the presentations, we moderate the discussions and try to
Oletko sitä on kuitenkin tuolla? Niin hävisikö se sitten? Menikö se, mutta se menee tosta sitten vaan? Joo, koitas uudestaan.
So now you hear me. So I wonder how much you kind of got from the presentation, but we should have the poll now, or should I go back to the technical details? okay, I think I will. But on the other hand, we maybe manage. And yeah, how can you put a poll so that people can answer it? So how does it pop up? Yeah, okay. So now you can choose one option and let's see how many we have in there. Sorry for for being unmuted, but it was strange that it was so. It seems like at the moment 50-50 for smartphone or mobile applications and website or an online platform community. Also some votes for the physical device, but really minor, but it's almost 50-50 for the two first options. Yeah, let's see how you, what do you think after the presentations, but I think we will move on. Thanks for voting. Yeah, you saw it too. But background for this webinar. So this is based on real life experiences that have been gathered in the Baltic Urban Lab project. And actually, I think maybe you don't even know who I am if you missed the first part. So my name is Johanna Aaltonen and I'm from the University of Turku, and we have been also a partner in this project. And technically, this is operated by the lead partner, Union of Baltic Cities. But we had also city partners and project cities, Tallinn and Norrköping, will share their hands-on experiences on using new digital tools on participatory urban planning that they have developed and tested within the project. And agenda today, so we have been opening the webinar. And the first presentation will be given by Ivari Rannamaa and Aave Karkaja. They are from City of Tallinn. And the topic is Citizen Involvement Tool Avalin for Android and iOS devices. And we will not have any discussion break. So directly after them, there will be Erik Delden from City of Norrköping. And his topic will be 3D visualization to Earth Autopsy. And after those presentations, we will get to the discussion and questions part. So I hope you actively write good questions to the questions box, and we will see how good and critical and supportive discussions we will get afterwards. But I think now we can give the presenter mode to Ivari and Aave and start from Tallinn. So thank you and enjoy and so.
Mä tyynnä, kun mä katson, kun kiersi. Mä pystyn, että sun äänes hävisi siinä. Sitten kerta loppu. Minkä tässä on vielä? Ollaan niin kuin...
So, hi from Tallinn. I hope everybody can see me and the presentation at the moment. We are here together with Aave, and we would like to talk to you about our experience developing a citizen involvement tool, Avalin, and the data we have gathered with it and how we have implemented it. So if you still don't have this application, Avalin, please go to the Google Play Store or App Store or scan this to download yourself, so you can check out the application itself during our presentation. So if you have a mobile device with you, then you can do it. So remember, in the church Avalin. So, but let's begin. Like Johanna said, we are one part of Baltic Urban Lab project, and the aim of from the Tallinn side was to develop one structure plan in Skåne area, Skåne and Telliskivi area, and to test over there this digital tool to for participation. Yeah, that's why you're here to support me. So, and this aim of this application was to share our vision about the area and how we like to have it developed in the future, and also to gather ideas from the citizens, what they think about it, what are their comments. And we like to do it in a convenient way. And we focused on the smartphones because people wear them in everywhere they go. So when after we launched the project, we went to the, for example, IT companies, listened to them. Also, we made an idea gatherings in the workshop format. What the citizens would like to, what this tool should be, and also how to get the ideas how we will market it, because with apps or in every application there is very important how to reach to the citizens, that citizens really use it, what are the good ways to do it. So we had this workshop. People came together and presented their ideas. We got very good input. After, for example, this is one result we had over there, for example, the idea for the application and also the ideas for marketing. After that, we made a tender. We put together technical issues. We wanted the main things we wanted from this app. Also, we had an expert in our side. And then we had a tender. We got the winner. There was 2 proposals. One was suited from the financial side for us also. And so this development was like more than a year. It just ending at the moment because we do some more repairs over there. But the result was 2 applications, one from Android and for iPhones, and also the backend side, the administration side, that sometimes the people are forgetting that all the time there is something administration side behind the applications, where we update and where we prepare the data for the launch. So, and during our 2 first idea gathering, what was the proportion of how much applications were downloaded, that was quite equal. A little bit more was Android. And now I'm just going through some main functionalities we have in the application. First, when you when you have downloaded the application and you launch it, then is the just information about what sort of idea gathering is going on at the moment, because in our app there is one idea gathering at a time possible. So people can read it and get overall information, what should they do in the application, what they accept. And the main functionalities is when the app is opened, then you saw the map of our new structure plan, new idea, what we would like to do in the city, in the urban space, how we want to change it. And also there are like blue dots about, like we call information points, where we have the visual side and the information side about what the change will be, or what it would be will look in the future. And people just can say like or dislike. In one phone, you can say only one like or dislike, and you also can take it back, for example. And also you can put your comments, and other people, citizen, can like or dislike your comments. So this was the functionality in the first idea gatherings. At the moment, we have developed it further that way that we have when you watch the screen in the right, there is the new visual that you can also add sub comments. Then we can have a more discussion about this information point. You still can say like or dislike, and also you can have sub comments in the comment side. For example, some people have thought something, and others it's more like a forum now. And visual side also changed a little bit. So also this adding your comment, we changed the visual a little bit after the first idea gathering. We more this Avalin identity. In the right hand side is a new adding button, and we put it in the middle that it would be easier to find it. That add your comment is, we really want it to be as simple as possible, that people find the right place in the right way. Really, you can add your comment like when you dip your finger a long time, then you can also add a comment, for example. You can do it in different ways. So just some example of the pictures we put in the application, and one artist made also the simple drawings about the future, like you see in the left, the sun is yellow, and how this square will look like. And in the Vanakala, my idea gathering, we also already had architecture company visualized pictures, so that really people can understand how this change will look like in the level of ideas. Also, is just simple functionalities that you can click on and in and out ideas and information points, for example, in the map. And also you can take off our structure plan. Just we made, it's in Estonian here, tulevik, olevik, but it really means a future and the present situation, that you can just swap between them and really understand how the situation is at the moment and how it will be in the future. So one side was also there that we wanted to put detail plans in the application, that people can understand that in overall, in all the Tallinn city, that what developments are going on and in which stage they are at the moment. So this is the just simple and brief information. For example, in the green, there are detailed plans in the progress in the Tallinn, and brown ones are approved detailed plans. And you, for example, you click in one green detailed plans, you can see the progress, in which state is how far is it from the end or from the beginning. And if you're really interested more about it, you can go to the register, for example, and watch more. And also some changes. We have a about page and the feedback page. This on the left is the first version of it, and then the right is the second one. We also, during this project, our Tallinn visual identity changed and our logos changed. So we made that change also in the our app. Just a small improvements. So, and this is one screen from the side of our backend side, our administrative side of app. In this moment, I tried to show you in the live in the browser, for example. Let's try. Do I succeed to do it? So I hope you see the web browser picture. So this is the part what really changed also during our project from the first version to second version. First one was very simple and this administration side, but here we made quite many changes. And for example, I just open, here is the active idea gatherings. That means that what you can see in the app at the moment when you open it, this is the overall information that we can change in the app. The app is also in the 3 languages, Estonian, English, and Russian. So introduction text, we can change it. But overall, the content is in Estonian, for example. And this is also the map, and we can change the base map we use and what is the, for example, the opening view in which extent. And here we can manage the information points we have in the application. Here we can already watch how many likes or dislikes some points have, and we can sort them. And also we see the ideas. Here the people are inserted, for example. And this is like, we have only the unique ID of the device that this idea is inserted in. So there is no login in our application. People, if they want, they can put their name, for example. But we know just that which comments are made in, for example, in one device. Probably it's one user. So, and here we can prepare our next idea gathering, for example. At the moment we have none, but I hope we soon will have. And this is also archive, for example. There are all the idea gatherings that are already done. And for example, we watch the Skåne area. And here we can see the structure plan. And for example, some new ideas that people sent to us and some pictures they uploaded, for example, when they put ideas.
But this managing tool is only in Estonia.
Yeah,
it's made for us.
Yeah, made for us. And also with our latest development, we have this functionality of push notifications. So, for example, if we have a next idea gathering, we can, and people have the app in their phone, we can send a put notification that, hey, new idea gathering is in the app available. Please come and visit and say what you think about it. So this is like the good side of the app, for example, compared to web application that you have. If people have the app, you have straight connection to it, and you can send some messages for them.
And also you can download the data out of here and deal them with them later.
Yeah, this is, for example, we can export in a CSV format. This is just, I exported before the presentation, and in that sort of, and we can use this data later to present it in different ways. So, but now I go further with our presentation. And like I said, marketing is important. Again, with Anu. And when we started Skåne it was February. It was not, people were not so active in the outside, in the weather, but we made quite many marketing events before and also after the launch of application. It's just some graphic that most of our activities were in social media, Insta post, Facebook, but also press releases and TV and screens in the Vabaduse Square, for example. And this is in the timeline. In the beginning, we made more this marketing events. So, and because we have Google Analytics behind all the applications, so I just put on this Google Analytics site main points where we made more this marketing events to show how much they affected the use of application. This question mark, this is like Baltic Urban Lab gathering in Turku. It was, I think that was the first time we introduced to the Urban Lab project team also. But here we can see that there was this was a 1 month long idea gathering period. We had 7,500 users. They had averagely 18 screen views. They watched quite many screens, and averagely they were there about 7 minutes in the applications, watched the data, and also how this is the graphic how many their own comments people inserted. So also they are we can see that when we made marketing events, there was averagely more feedback we got, and also in the end there was and one color is one user. So we had, I think, 180 comments, something about it, and there was a unique user for where something 120. And also, when we got feedback, how much people, this is the graphic that green says how much likes they put to the information points, and red how much dislikes. And in the left there is information points, and in the right there is to the citizen comments themselves. So for citizen comments, we can say that averagely every comment had 1 dislike and 5 likes. But for information points, there was, I think, something 10 times more likes than dislikes. And when we watch just the information points one by one, then we can see that the most popular was the idea, the bridge or tunnel across the railroad to Telliskivi. And the most disliked or not satisfied solution were the road road solutions and traffic solution in the Skåne Bastion area, where because of that feedback, we have also had a special workshop in Tallinn after the idea gathering in the spring. So, and this is, for example, the result of the first idea gathering. We made this GIS online map, just we exported the data, and the bigger the blue ones are the information points, the bigger the more likes, and green are the comments of citizen comments, and the bigger the more likes, for example. And the purple color is the amount of dislikes about this point summarized. So this is the way that we can explore the feedback for our structure plan. What kind of ideas are supported, but which one are not supported, for example. Also, during the inactive period, this application is opened. Everybody can watch the results, but they cannot insert any new likes or dislikes or new ideas. And during that time, there are less users, and also less screens are viewed and less times are in the app. So this is like quite logical also. But during the time we had also the second idea gathering, because we had a quite good experience with the app in our first Skåne, and we wanted that this is not a one-time project, that we want to use it more and more and do some development. So there was Vana-Kalamaja street. There is a new plan to redesign it. So we put in the Avalin, also some information points, and we did some marketing events, much less than with Skåne, but quite many people already had the app, and this is also showing that in here more this is like in correlation that we made the marketing events, that more people are visiting it, mainly also in the beginning. People go watch it out, put their ideas, and here is a little bit less time in the application, but much more screens than in the screen views than in the middle time. So, and here quite many new comments came in the beginning, for example, here. And there is not that one user goes and put all the comments, but there is quite many users. And this is also the likes and dislikes proportion for the ideas and people, citizens themselves. In second idea gathering, the trend was that citizens liked and disliked their ideas more than the information points. But this is maybe also because there was less information points in the Vana-Kalamaja street. And yeah, one square was most supported, for example, but on this viewing platform and also the house of community were liked, but also there was quite many dislikes. So this is a question to do that sort of things or not, for example, in that street. Also, just a summary from the analytics side, that what people really watched in the application, that most, this is like the commented details. The most views are for citizens, their own comments. They watch what other people think, and also almost the same 39% are the viewing of information points. So overall, information points are viewed 1,500 times, for example. So that says that we have informed quite much the publicity and citizens, and just how people use the app, how many come the second time, fourth time, third time. It's like from this graphic you can say the rule that every next time half of the people come to watch it. So every second comes to the second time, from them every second comes to the third time, and etc. For example, this is good to know and remember. So, and to summarize also that we watched from the analytics side that our app crashed 2 times. So this, and one trend was that not much pictures were added. We have the functionality, but we ourselves are thinking that really we didn't ask people to, for example, to mark or picture something, but we just wanted to feedback for our ideas. So there is even hard to imagine sometimes what to add with the picture. But if the question is something else, I think there is more used. And also overall 167 hours people spent in the app during the Skåne idea gathering, and 73 hours in the Vana-Kalamaja street idea gathering. So it's quite a much time when we had people's attention.
Yes, Kone was available 1 month and Vana Kalamaja was half month.
Half month, yeah. And one thing that we still have that question, do we let them explore in the application so we don't especially focus on the ideas, for example, which have more likes, that people go to that every information points and comments are equal when you watch it on the map. So they go and explore more, because I think when we put that, oh, this is very much liked or disliked, then the people focus on that points and they don't watch the other points. So at the moment we keep them like that. And this was maybe unusual for a public sector. We get more positive than negative feedback. Sometimes we are like thinking that everything want to say something negative, but this was a positive surprise for us also. So there is always a question for ourselves also, that mobile responsive web page versus mobile app. Because we felt that some people wanted to insert the data from the web and they don't have the possibility to have the app, and they didn't have possibility to send their opinion. Was also only that please send us email and let us know. But this was a negative side. And our experience with developing it is we watched quite many stuff over and over, and we made a prototype and testing and as we understand that visual is very important, and also to test the real users to have it. We are never satisfied, but we try to have as good solution as possible. And also marketing is very important. And in this project, we didn't have much finances for that we had to be clever and then sometimes use our own finances. But this is one thing that you should have. Otherwise, there is no use of developing any app or solution if people really don't use it, don't have the possibility. And just in the end, for the further developments that we are just analyzing to develop the website, also that you can watch and put the data in the web during the idea gathering time. At the moment, we are also changing the hosting environment. Our project time is over and we want to put in the city hosted environment. And also this platform is we want to use it much wider than only urban planners in different teams in the city, for example, in environmental teams, or even, for example, whatever you can use it.
The interest is inside the city and outside also.
Yeah. And one definitely further development with this app is we have Augmented Urbans project, also international project, that we have the finances also to have something with virtual augmented reality and virtual reality to use this together with this app. And new idea gathering, we are really waiting that Tallinn Main Street we will put it to the Avalin, but this is just not the right time, is not came yet. So, but I think when you download it, the Avalin app, there will be soon next idea gathering that you can give your opinion and give us your feedback. So, but now, thank you, and we are waiting what interesting stuff Eric has to say and show us today. Thank you.
Stop.
Muted. Now I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now? Hope so. Yeah, as I said, my name is Erik Taldén. I'm from the city of Norrköping in Sweden, where I work with developing new ways for public participation and developing 3D tools. Not for you who don't know where Norrköping is, it's a city just an hour south of Stockholm. It's about 140,000 inhabitants, and it's an old industrial city located along a river. And along this river, it used to be like the main source for getting power to the in industries which are located in the core of the city. But now we have seen a switch where these old factory buildings has become a great assets, where among them universities and science centers and research institutes have located themselves. And a lot of research in Norrköping is based around the topic of visualization. And we have also a center for visualization, which is called the Norrköping Visualization Center. And that's a place where the research at the nearby universities and nearby research institutes and companies that work with visualization can exhibit their work and show them to a broader public. And that's also a place where we like to be at as the urban planning department. It's a well-known and established arena, which has about 300,000 visitors a year. And among them, there is 40,000 school children. So we reach quite a broad audience in that place. And one of those tools that you can experience there is the one that you see in the lower right corner. It's a virtually autopsy table, which is used for research and education, universities teaching students at medical faculties how the human body looks like inside. And for you that don't know about visualization, it's a way to illustrate really complex multidimensional contexts by means of expression adapted to the human vision. And humans have a really great possibility to interpret pictures and have a good way of understanding them. So we use quite a lot of we have quite a lot of data when you work with urban planning that's really hard to understand, and we use visualization to get them accessible both for us and for the general public. And in Norrköping, we try to work with our brand, and our brand is Let's Create Norrköping, and it's supposed to be a way where you invite the citizens to be involved in every sense of making the city, not only urban planning, but in any way. So it's we really encourage people to take part, and like you see in the picture, painting the new Norrköping. And this is something that we have to relate to when working with city planning, and that's a mission from our politicians. So we try to find tools and ways of doing that and doing that possible. And one tool that we have worked quite a lot with is this one. It's called the Urban Explorer table, which is a table where you can, it's basically a large iPad-looking computer where you can look at a really detailed 3D map, which shows upcoming projects in the city of Norrköping. It's everything from detailed plans to comprehensive plans. And standing around and exploring in this application has proven for us to be a great tool to really communicate with the citizens. And here is an example of how it looks inside of it. It's a really super detailed 3D map, which has a really communicative way of, rather than a regular 2D map. So in this type of map, you can directly see and recognize where you are and what you're looking at. And I think that this is really a key thing for the success. It's very quick to realize where you are. And the first thing that people do when they use this is that they zoom into their own home and they start immediately like telling their story. This is where I live and this is how I get to work. And this is where our children play. And this gives planners a great understanding for that person's life and that person's physical context. And on top of that, you can add detailed plans and planned buildings. But it's also a tool where we can talk about global issues like flooding, and seeing flooding in this really visual way creates quite a lot of more understanding. And you can see that flooding from the ocean in this case would really affect my home and my surroundings, and that's something that we really have to deal with. We have also had a few tools where you can add your own comments. It's a bit like the example that you saw from Tallinn, but this one is not been based on the mobile phone. It's been a web education, web application. And on this map, it was accessible on a web platform where you could add your own comments. We had in this project, we had over 500 comments, as you see in the picture here. And people had a great experience, that people were really creative and constructive when they were doing their ideas in this map, and they did small drawings, and some people wanted to tell about certain qualities in a certain place, and others came with proposals of new things that should be implemented in the area. So that was a successful way of working. And this way of working has spread a bit in around Sweden. We see several municipalities that work with this type of participation tools, where you can add your own comments, and you can also add your own buildings. And I wanted to show you this from Gothenburg, where one guy has proposed how a new mega city in Gothenburg could be developed, and has drawn over 5,000 buildings. So it's quite a lot of effort and work that people are want to put into this type of application and share with others. In Gothenburg, they have also seen how it has this type of map and this type of possibilities as attractive professionals. This is one architecture firm which has given a proposal of a new densification strategy in Gothenburg, and they share this for free and use the platform as a marketing opportunity for their company. So it's I would say more or less a win-win situation in giving this platform available. And you can see on the right that a lot of discussion is taking place also on Facebook, so you can connect those IDs to Facebook. But in the Baltic Urban Lab, we have worked with the inner harbor area in Norrköping, which is very close to the city center, and that's an area which will be developed to like a mixed-use inner city type of area, rather than a harbor area as it is today. And this area has a history of being not just the main harbor for Norrköping, but it's also been hosting a gasworks site. And this gasworks site was the thing that it delivered the gas, which enabled light for the factories so they can have work throughout the day. And when you work with gas, you have to make several steps and purify the gas. It was made initially from coal, and which you have to purify it in certain steps. And this has caused a lot of contaminations, which is buried deep in the ground. And one of those is this really beautiful blue colored soil that's actually cyanide. So it's quite a dangerous pollution that's buried deep in the ground, and that's just one of several different pollution subjects which are in the ground. And this is actually the tip of a digging device here in the inner harbor. So this is, you can say that this is something that we really have to work with and communicate to the citizens. And a lot of people are wondering and know about this in the area. And in the Baltic Urban Lab project, we wanted to really make that understandable and accessible to the public, how it really looks down beneath under the ground. And we have seen those great applications exhibited at the Visualization Center, where you can virtually autopsize a human body. And to do that, you use a CT scanner taking thousands and thousands of pictures of a human body. And here you actually see where they are scanning a mummy. But when you work with examining the ground and the pollutions underground, we have more conventional methods like these drilling machines, where we take samples of the soil for every half meter, which we analyzed in a laboratorium. And here you can see that it's quite poisonous, these samples. And you see the really thick black thing here. It's raw tar, which is also buried in the ground. But we want to combine a few different techniques to make this accessible. So this picture here shows all of the drilling samples that we take. And from this, we can use GIS softwares to interpolate the results of the drilling samples for every half a meter. And basically, we can create a theoretical X-ray of the ground. And to make a platform for communication, as you saw before in the earlier pictures, we have this great experience with the detailed 3D maps. We have started to use drones to create our own 3D maps over the sites. So we take these two techniques and add them into the software which is used for virtual autopsies in medical education. And then we get volumes of the pollutions. And on top of that, we can add the detailed 3D map, so we really know and understand the context. And this around this we have developed a software which can exhibit this and make it accessible to the public. And this is exhibited at the Visualization Center, as you saw earlier in my presentation, making it accessible to 300,000 visitors and 40,000 school children, so quite a lot of people. And here the users can really start to learn and understand the situation in under the ground, so they can autopsize the ground and peel off and cut off layers. And that's why we call this the Earth Autopsy tool. You can see, you can take a look at all of the different contaminations here, looking at cyanide, lead, tar, and benzene. And you can sort them out, looking at each subject at a time. And now we are looking at PaH and lead. So this shows that how you can cut through the ground and make that accessible to the general public. And I would like to share a video which further explains this to you, that you can find on YouTube. So please click on the link on the chat. See if you can get that. See that it's only to the panelists and organizers. Can the organizers please send it out to all of us? And yeah, that's a few ways of how we work with urban planning and visualization, and the new methods that we have developed during the Baltic Urban Lab. And during our work, we have also experienced that this technique that we have developed here, can be used as well for examining archaeological sites. So we will take this further and use it in a nearby area, but in this case we will use something called the georadar instead of drilling samples, but it will work in quite a similar way. So that I think was a great success in this work that we have done during the Baltic Urban Lab. That is, we can develop this methodology further. Yeah. So I think that's it for me. Thank you for listening, and I give the controls back to the UBC.
Yes, thank you for both of you, and I think we can all come back as happy faces here. So I hope that also Erik and Ivar and Aave will come back. We get Erik.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you for all of you. We have had a few questions, but before that, so just a general question. So when thinking about digital tools and using them in your city, so what do you think, what's the share and role of digital tools in participatory planning in your city at the moment? So is it kind of a mainstream, or is it still under development? So how easily it's integrated with planning processes and political processes?
I think yeah. I just think it's under development quite a lot, but we are like testing, and we are just quite in the beginning of in our way to more use it, especially when we are thinking about apps. So I think maybe Eric and Norrköping are further in that field.
Can you, Eric, hear?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
also comment.
And I think we have been working with different types of participation tools, online tools, for about 5-6 years. So it's quite established in our organization. But I think as a whole, to the whole industry, it's really in a early stage. And we also see that technology which people use, when we started working with participation tools, we were mainly focusing on online tools using a computer. But now we see that, people are using the smartphone, so it's constantly changing, and that's so that means that we have all the time to new technologies.
Yeah, maybe it would be great to hear also some from other cities, but let's jump to the questions, not to miss them. So there is one question about the Avalin app. So is it free? And we are already answered that it's free. Do you want to comment something about this?
Yes, everybody can download it, and it's free, but it's like at the moment this is like Tallinn specific. For example, that if anybody wants to in their city, for example, to start using it, we can share the code, but they have to put it in their own environment, for example.
And in own language if they want.
Yeah.
And maybe one minus there is that we have all the documentation about this app only in Estonian. And that means a lot of translations.
But we have had some interest about this app already, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can maybe kind of start to make money for the city by
Not money, I think. We can share the experience and share the results, our results in this project. Every city, I think all the cities are looking for this involvement tools or best practices, and also in Tallinn that this Avalin is only one tool, but in different fields we use different technical solutions also. That at the moment we are like really watching that what are the minuses and pluses in different tools. And I think that in different situations, we have to use different tools also, for example. For some feedback, this Avalin is very good, but in some other times, maybe some just easy web questionnaire is better solution.
Or even show the results of it after analyzing them. It's easy to get out of those data there, but it's several ways to show them out somewhere else. Yeah.
I think a good continuation, because there is a question from Maria Tommola. What were the costs to Tallinn? If this would be tried also in some other city, how much this would cost to the city? And then also, could you repeat again what the negative aspects between the web page and maybe this mobile? So this kind of city level questions, and then more about these practical things, how to kind of launch the application.
Yeah, the minus with the app is always that you have to install it, and you can use it only in mobile phones. You can't. If you have web page, you can also use it in the computer and in the mobile phone. Usually, when you have app, this is faster. Also, all the user experience is better with app. But also with the app, you have to update it. For example, we have also, some have the older version, of course, some have newer version. For example, that the notification functionalities with the latest version only. If people haven't updated their app, then they don't have it. So there are different things, and this is also like our first mobile app also, that there is things that when we send it in the live in Android, there is there is less time when they are reviewing the app before you can even publish it. With the App Store, the time is a little bit longer usually, and different accounts there is quite specific aspects, and this was one experience. But in other way, there are some functionalities that you cannot have in a web page. You have to have an app, and when we started to develop app, when we had this workshop or ideas that people want in that we saw that in one moment we have to do app if you want that kind of functionality even to have in the future. So this is thing that do in the start is web-based app, or do the real app already, native app already. So, and also our partner was he was also better in doing these native apps, for example, in our case. So this is the path we chose.
Yeah, thank you. And then there's actually the last part was from Anna Jones, and there is also another question from Anna. So how much did it take from design to launch of the app? So how long was the development process itself for the Avalin app?
We started to analyze it like on the beginning of autumn, and the development took over 1 year, I think. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
This was quite much time in prototyping, for example, in our case.
Yeah, but it's important to do, and a lot of testing and improving it. Yeah, I think maybe it seems so small thing and easy thing, but it needed quite much time to do.
Yeah. And in the end, we were a little bit waiting for the content also, that we prepared the content before the launch, that there is no point to launch the app before you have the content you want to have over there. So.
But the developer was a quite small company, so maybe 2 or something people were dealing with that development at the same time. So, or 2 or 3 people, and let's say 1 year.
Yeah, thanks. Then there's, I think we can still continue with Tallinn because they are all kind of related. So question from Lisa Pelja. So did you use the amount of likes each comment had to decide whether or not a succession is taken forward, and has it been possible to use the ideas provided? So what was actually the next steps after you received the comments and data from your activity?
I didn't understand the question.
I didn't also.
Sorry for me. But you can repeat in the short. What was the question?
Do you use the amount of likes each comment has to decide it whether or not the succession is taken forward? So if something got more likes or comments, so was it kind of once it steps forward?
The city planners are dealing with these results, but yes, of course, we get like really surprising results because where we didn't expect to get I don't know, votes, they get them. So it makes I don't know, you just have to your idea. What seems to be really perfect, actually in public way, maybe sometimes it don't. So it's good way to know the public's opinion also. So, but I think what places got more feedback and likes, I think they are on the top of list to do, or they are taking it account.
Yeah, there was another thing that I already said in the presentation also, the traffic, but got dislikes. That means that this is the problem for the public, problem point, and that we had a workshop, and during that workshop was even the fourth solution. We had 3 solutions there, but really we got the more understanding that none of them is good enough to go further. We have maybe wait with the same solution to have and do the big decisions in the future, for example. And this was one thing that what really came out, that this is really problematic thing. That the good solutions that we thought were not so good. That there were some sides of these solutions that really we were maybe not considered.
So you have to be prepared also for surprises. So.
Yeah. You always have to when you ask.
I think that the positive feedback was also the good results of our urban planners, but really did quite good co-creation of this structure plan with the landowners in that area, and also they gathered quite much information before they made the structure plan. This is also was like a co-creation already before we went to the real public.
Yeah, I think we can maybe give also some stage for Erik. So maybe you could share some advice to other cities or who would like to use more visualization to support this participatory urban planning, but are not that experienced yet. So do you have some kind of do's or do's not, and then have you actually seen a change in the way how people are involving in your city? So have you seen a shift somehow already?
Yeah, sure. In working with like this public participation tools, I think Tallinn showed some of them. I think the best advice is that like the user experience of the application is really a core thing, and also marketing, reach out, and how you will get the public to consume your like product and download it, for example, and take part of the possibilities. And I think a lot of it in many cases it turned out to be more or less a technical project where the people tend to focus too much of the technology and in the application, and miss the marketing and the user experience part of it. And I think that's the 2 main. Yeah. And if there's been a change, I think we in this case we actually went back a little. It's been a change because when we started doing these types of tools, people were getting more and more computers at home, and better computers with great graphic cards, and that made it possible to show 3D online. But now people, most parts of the ones that access the municipality's website use cell phones and smartphones. So that means that we no longer can be, it's no longer possible to show 3D. And that's a bit why we have chosen to take technology-wise, you can say our step back with this application where we have it in a physical place, but it's a very well-established place, so we still can reach quite a lot of people and a big audience. So yeah, it's a challenge working with technology, just constantly shifting.
Yeah, and I think you maybe have to have a bunch of technologies, so because you're you're kind of dealing with how much information you can present in different forums. So you maybe have to have different ways and platforms and techniques to kind of get the data. So it's kind of tricky in a way, and how much you can actually explain. So you maybe need to simplify and so on. You have a limited kind of technology in use. But then if you put different mediums together, so maybe that's kind of one solution. There's also a question from Lisa Peril that about this Earth autopsy software. So can you adapt it in other cities in Europe, or is the build-up of the program very specific? So is it something that it's just now in budgeting and it's not easy to
It's
elsewhere?
possible to, for other cities to use the same method. It's basically you have to use drillings like we did, and you have to use GIS to interpolate the results of the drillings. But yeah, it's possible, and we will use it in other cases, as I mentioned as well. So yeah, so it's accessible, and the software is called Inside Explorer, if someone wants to look that up. And, the company that helped us with the development of the tool is called Interspectral.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and we have got also more questions to Tallinn. So have you developed some detailed marketing plan to support your app to increase the amount of users, and what kind of events have you organized? Was the order random, or there was some overall frame coordination, etc.? This is from Karolina Kopechka.
Yes, we had a postcard with drawings that we made of future solutions. But Ave and Anu, and we put in the areas because we are focused on the Skåne Bastion area. That was important that people of that area use the Avalin app. So we had in the bus stops, we had these posters, also in the tunnels posters. So because we didn't have a big budget for it, we had to think the possibilities that city has. We have the Vabaduse Square screen, for example, but we can use without money. We put a banner over there. Also, we did our press releases. Also put the information to Facebook to the active our neighborhood communities, who are the most active people in the region, to have this Facebook posts, also Insta post during the team that we put the one information point in info in Instagram, for example, and what we city thinks to do that kind of solution. What you think about it, download the app and say your word, for example. So, and we used something like that.
It was just Insta.
Yeah, in Instagram, yeah.
But we had a lot of ideas that we couldn't make because the lack of, I don't know, maybe time or even energy.
The problem was us in our perfect timetable. The time we wanted to launch the Avalin was autumn, the time that people are more, but we launched it in February.
Yeah.
It's snowy. We have had some thoughts that we can do in the public space, but because of the weather, there was no point to do that, for example. But like a bus stops, people go more buses, so they watch the posters. And also we made this QR code. This is always hard how to get from the physical environment people to the digital environment. With the planning that we have a plan in this area, but First, you have to go to the digital environment to see more. But I think it's important to do that kind of stuff and do it to get attention in the we had gamification to do it in a fun for people.
And you always have content because you have one idea, which is maybe the idea gathering maybe this time is over, but on the map or on the app you can see the result, and actually you can also concentrate on the new thing you want to get ideas. So actually there is always something to speak or tell about. Yeah.
But we made our marketing plan. Yeah, we have Excel tables, quite many events.
Anu was responsible, yeah.
So there was this other part of the question. So was it kind of a timeline with events, or how did you combine it with the events? So did you plan what was the actual bigger scheme behind the actual collecting points? Or I can read it again.
No, not that. We understood.
We didn't went to the kind of events, for example, but because of the time of the year. But we put postcards in the coffee shops and that kind of stuff. But we didn't made a special event. There was there was a TV that we made a TV clip that was in the local TV, and to share that we focused our marketing events in the start of this idea gathering. That we launched it. We tried to do as big as possible. So.
But when I went in this area to visit my friends, I always took out my phone and showed this app, and they also all downloaded, and yeah, that was my private life then also. Yeah.
Yeah. Then. Yeah, thank you. We have a question from Janne Mustonen to Eric. So, how politicians, owners, and developers are reacting this kind of methods of discussion? So, how it's taken?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, how politicians, owners, and developers react in these kind of methods of discussions?
How politicians, owners, and
developers are reacting this kind of using this kind of methods.
Or they encourage us to use these types of methods, and it's more or less on their encouragement that we do and we work with these methods, and so they say that it's a really good way to reach a lot of the public, and so they support us all the way. And owners, I guess owners of properties and stakeholders in that sense in the area, for example, this has been a great tool for us to really explain how the situation underneath the ground looks like, and show why some certain buildings have to be torn down, for example. So in that case, it has helped us quite a lot to make this understandable.
So it has maybe not widened the gap, but brought parties closer together.
Yeah, it's the basic idea is that everyone needs to understand the situation, and we make these tools to make that understanding more easy. So it's quite abstract to understand soil pollutions, and if you are not working with this professionally, so it needs to be explained in a more accessible way.
And there is also another question from Janne. So, Erik, you said that companies use this program as a platform to marketing their know-how. What kind of companies are those? GIS, CAD planning, architect software, etc. What companies who use the program as a platform for marketing their know-how?
Yeah. In the case of in the Gothenburg case, which I showed in the presentation, that's mainly used by architects to promote building proposals and maybe show them to clients or get clients in that way. So they produce buildings and proposals, and they make them accessible and available in the map. And we use these types of maps for marketing our own land resources, for example, and to market our projects and market our city.
Yeah, there's also Anna Jones asked if you could write down the name of the company that helped you with the development, so you can write that in the chat. But and then there are also more questions from Anna. So I'm not Anna Jones, so I'm not sure if you're targeting this to both or just one of them. So if you're still there, so you could also open up it by speaking yourself, but you raise hand, so then you can continue, or I can also ask them, because there's questions.
Can I ask a question from Erik?
Yes.
Yes. What is, do you have a next project also where you want to use this software you developed? Do you have already some next projects?
Yeah, we have our next project is around archaeologic sites, where some part of the city will be developed with the high-speed railway that's coming to Norrköping, and then we have to view of what's hidden underground regarding archaeology. So I think that will be the next step of further develop this software.
Okay, we are very interesting because in Tallinn there is quite much to find underground. Archaeology is like, we have quite many sites, burial sites where we develop new developments. So I think it's quite cool too. Okay.
Hello?
I think if Anna Jones, you can ask now by yourself, so you can point to both of them, or so you have been asked. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you all for the great information. My question was about, of course, trying to find out the drawbacks of the whole process, because we always see the outcomes, but the process, I'm pretty sure, is not as smooth. So that's my question, perhaps for Tallinn or Erik, both of you, who wants to comment on that. And then my second comment is about participation in general, because I think that whether it's a website or an app, I think we are excluding those who don't have access to either. And that is a consideration for really have a participatory process that takes into account everyone. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Yeah, nail it.
Okay, drawbacks. I think the development took us more effort than we thought, more time from our side also during the development. Also, yeah, that everybody is involved with this in this project. there was not aim to involve everything. We just wanted to test the tool to really reach the people who are using the smartphones, people who will probably not come to the city office, for example, or send a paper letter, etc., to just reach the extra target group. Of course, there was, because of we put this structure plan only to the app, there was a question, but how the other things can think about it or send their information and or get knowledge of it. What was maybe drawback or the weakness that we didn't think through to the end, the process of the feedback. The people send us the information, they say likes, dislikes, how we give the feedback to them, or how we deal with this all the process at the moment. This is, we do the idea gathering, we have to process the data, but where it is in convenient way, people can see the results or what happened with their idea or they thought. This is like was a weak side in our case, I think. So
Norrköping.
Some drawbacks. I think we could say a bit about the drone. Using drones has been quite of a challenging due to national regulations that's been changing quite a lot here in Sweden. Generally, I said it before, with technology, it's that like it changes all the time, and it's hard to keep in phase with that. And regarding like reaching everyone, it's always a great challenge to reach everyone, and we do our best to reach as many people as possible. And I think that digital tools accessible through the internet are one of the best ways of reaching a lot of people. And we are monitoring a lot of national surveys, which we have here in Sweden, where we can see how widespread the use of internet, cell phones, social media, etc. is. So we try to use and take advantage quite a lot of the possibilities that digital media gives us. And but it's quite hard to reach and please everyone in a planning process.
Oh, some things never change.
Yeah.
I
think having tools has made the possibility to reach a lot of people a lot more better than just a few years ago. We can also see that in the national surveys is that most people in Sweden, they have access to internet at home, they have access to smartphones, and they have access to computers, and they use their smartphones and the computers on a daily basis. So we have quite a good statistics over that. So that's really a good thing to monitor on a national level, how the accessibility and availability of this type of media is in the country.
Yeah, I think really important aspect is as well to, as we have done in the project, so really share experiences and tell what has been working and what has not, so everyone doesn't have to make the kind of development from the beginning. So this is also why we had this webinar. So I think we have been running out of our time, but if there is still some questions, so we can maybe take one. But I would like to thank both presenters and great questions and activity. And this recording should be available from the project website, balticurballab.eu afterwards, and you can get back to this later on. And we will have coming, because our project is getting to the end, so within, well, a couple of weeks, so we are just in the final stages, so we will have a final conference coming in Riga soon, and then we will still have one webinar, which you are all warmly welcome to join us. So telling about our major kind of key products, so how to actually guide how to make the integrated brownfield urban planning. So tips about stakeholder involvement, and then different kind of how you actually are making the things inside your city, what internal practices you maybe need to put on, and etc. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's half cloudy here in Turku. Hopefully, it's great afternoon elsewhere in the world as well. But I think we are checking just. There's something in the chat. Yeah, Eric is leaving now, so thank you. Great show. And also to Ivan and Ave, thanks for the.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
You.